I read a great book by Jay Shetty called Think Like a Monk. And near the end of the book, he says, what is your mantra? And so my mantra is when you wake up in the morning, be kind, be grateful, be of service.
Could you talk to me about what you've learned over the years in keeping a gratitude journal, an individual gratitude practice, and then why you chose certain things to inject into this as far as the prompted practice and then periodic kind of reminders along the way?
Yeah, great question, Randy. Thank you. We're constantly looking at research, and we have now a database of over 1 million engagement surveys, countless interviews, and case studies. And the thing that always encouraged us was the common thread to all the great leaders, teams, cultures was that common thread of gratitude. So as you might guess, we'd say, well, who's been doing some research on gratitude? Berkeley did some fun stuff. Penn did some fun stuff where they actually did some deep dives on having people start and particularly end their day with some kind of gratitude ritual. And I'm a big fan of symbols and rituals. So hence the gratitude stone, right? It's a symbol, it's a token, right? It's a reminder. My wife and I started a ritual at the end of the day. We say, what are your three? What are three things you're grateful for? And, often it's more than three. Sometimes it's tough to get to three, but, we do this little exchange. And research shows that when you end your day in a state of gratitude, you sleep a little deeper. It says your relationships go a little deeper and a little more meaningful. That, again, that ripple effect that I'm such a big fan of. Well, they also talk about starting your day in a state of gratitude. So this idea of what are three things that you're grateful for when you wake up? Maybe it's family, maybe it's the weather. One of the practices in one of the journals was, what are three things you're looking forward to today, right? Which I really liked, which was, lunch with a friend, or like I put in today, my wife and I are going to take the train, and we live just outside New York City, and we're going to a Broadway play. I mean, how great is that? Just me and my wife, we'll enjoy, one of the great cities in the world, New York City. The place so nice, they named it twice, right? New York, New York. And I put our podcast. I'm looking forward to, connecting with Randy.
I made the gratitude journal.
You are immortalized.
I have made it.
And so that's, and then just a positive thought for the day. I'm a big fan of mantras. I read a great book by Jay Shetty called Think Like a Monk. And near the end of the book, he says, what is your mantra? And so my mantra is when you wake up in the morning, be kind, be grateful, be of service, which is why the one kind act a day was just amazing, right? Because that's service, right? That's doing something kind, that random act of kindness, that one kind act a day. And that's how you sort of start the day. It takes you like 3 minutes to fill it out. And then on the opposite page, we've got a fun quote. There's a million great quotes. Today's quote is a fun one. It says, this is by Adrian Gostick and Chester Elton, by the way. It says, when we express gratitude, we create a positive cycle of giving and receiving that strengthens our relationships and builds trust and loyalty. Adrian Gostick and Chester Elton. So from time to time, we do quote ourselves, which is a little vain, and yet I like it. and then on that, how did you end your day? So, very simple. What are three things that you're grateful for? One of the practices that I loved is, what was one lesson you learned today? That's a good one. And this, we came up, I think, on our own. I don't think this was in anybody else's journal. Was, who are the people, and name them? Heidi, Randy Sparks, Curtis Bennett, the grandkids, whoever it was. And I really like that. Now, one other thing that we added, and I will confess, it takes a little bit of work. And I'm not always good about doing it. But as we studied great leaders, interestingly enough, almost all of them journaled, or they had some kind of reflection ritual. It's a 90-day habit, right? But you don't have to do it sequentially. At the top of the page, we just write the date. So you may only do it 3 times a week, which is fine. They say 3 to 4 times a week is plenty. To get to 7 days may take you 14 days, right? The point is at the end of those 7 days of gratitude reflection, there's blank pages for you to say, hey, look back over those 7 days. And what were some of the highlights? Like, I've got well over 40 journals that I've kept. I never go back and read them, and I should. So this reflection, and then there's a 30-day reflection. And at the end of 30 days, we put a little QR code where you go to YouTube and you get a 2-minute gratitude coaching session with me, which is kind of fun. So again, it's how you start your day, how you end your day, how then you reflect on the last 7 days or the last 30 days. Just keeping that random act of kindness in the top of mind.